Hello, my darlings. It's Thursday, the 20th of February. And, well, here we are on a Thursday afternoon. I've finally finished work, and the weekend beckons. House reset tomorrow, and then a rest up Saturday and Sunday. I wish. Who knows what we're going to get. Monty's upstairs, laid out on the bed in our room, basically exhausted from playing in the garden. Lucky boy. Well, that's the nice things out of the way. Now to the horrible things. And it's not looking very good, is it? This is from Sky News. Ukraine war latest. Kremlin brands Starmer's plan unacceptable, and Kiev told to tone down US criticism. Oh, happy days. Not. Awful news. The Kremlin has hit out at proposal by Sir Keir Starmer to send UK troops to Ukraine as part of a potential peacekeeping mission. It comes after Donald Trump doubled down on his criticisms and false claims about Volodymyr Zelensky. 11 minutes ago. Zelensky meets US envoy, but news conference has been cancelled. According to Ukrainian media, Volodymyr Zelensky has met with the US envoy for the war, Keith Kellogg. But a Kyiv official has added a planned news conference has been cancelled at the request of Washington. Both Kellogg and Zelensky were due to speak. Kellogg's trip to Kyiv has coincided with a public spat between Donald Trump and Zelensky, with the former labelling the Ukrainian a dictator and demanding he move fast before he loses his country. This has deepened concerns that the US may force Ukraine into a concession as part of a deal to end the war, with discussions between Washington and Moscow kicking off 2 days ago without Europe or Kyiv. Zelensky's not a dictator, Trump fan Nigel Farage says, and that was 17 minutes ago at 14:55, and the other one came through at 14:59, so just before 3 p.m. this afternoon. Zelensky not a dictator, Trump fan Nigel Farage says, 17 minutes ago now. Some comments from the leader of Reform UK. Trump fan Nigel Farage has defended Volodymyr Zelensky from the US president scathing remarks yesterday, which described the Ukrainian as a dictator. Speaking to broadcaster GB News, Farage, who has been criticised for his silence on the issue in recent days, said, "You should always take everything Donald Trump says seriously, but not always absolutely literally. I think that applies very much in this case," he added. Let's be clear, Zelensky is not a dictator. Trump also called for Ukraine to hold elections on this. Farage appeared to agree. It is only right and proper that Ukrainians have a timeline for elections, he said. It's important to note that Ukraine has been under martial law ever since Russia began its invasion. According to Ukrainian law, it's prohibited to hold election while under martial law. The UK did not hold elections during the Second World War. Yes, we didn't. Yes, that's very true. 34 minutes ago, at 14:40 this afternoon, Europe has a vital role to play in securing peace in Ukraine. Europe has a vital role to play in the security peace in Ukraine, NATO chief Mark Rutte has said at a news conference today. Speaking from Slovakia, Rutte said it was vital that any deal made between Russia and Ukraine brings an enduring peace and ensure Russia will never try to take one more square kilometre of Ukrainian land. He said this will require security guarantees. There is no question that Europe has a vital role to play in security peace in Ukraine, he added. He also said the world was becoming more dangerous, but NATO remains ready to deter the challengers. He said Europe will need to boost military spending to more than 3% of GDP. The UK currently spends 2.3% of its GDP on defence. News just in at 15:15, which is 2 minutes ago. US opposes describing Russia as aggressor in G7 statement report. There may be signs of disunity in the G7 ahead of the third anniversary of the Ukraine war on Monday. According to the Financial Times, the US is against calling Russia the aggressor in a statement published each year by the group. The report cites 5 Western officials familiar with the matter who added Volodymyr Zelensky's participation for a virtual summit on Monday has also not been agreed yet. The words Russian aggression or similar descriptions have been used by G7 leaders since 2022 to describe the conflict. In last year's statement, the G7, made up of the US, UK, Canada, France, Germany, Italy, and Japan, as well as the EU, referred to Russia's aggression 5 times. The Financial Times quotes one of the officials as saying, "We are adamant that there must be distinction made between Russia and Ukraine. They are not the same." This all comes as the US kicked off talks with Russia to end the war this week. Discussions that have so far excluded Ukraine and Europe. Fears the US may force Ukraine into concessions as part of the deal were further raised yesterday when Donald Trump labelled Zelensky a dictator in a furious social media post. Goodness me. Keir Starmer is prepared to send our troops, both men and women, into Ukraine. Yes, I understand that we have to stand our ground, but what I'm really worried about is the minute we go there, even as a peace deal, that Putin is just going to look at it and say, right, well, you've obviously sent NATO troops in. Peacekeeping be damned. and he will retaliate. I do think we should tread very carefully here, very carefully indeed. And I just, I am just deeply concerned. I don't want this turning into a last Babylon. I know another reference to a very good book written about the nuclear war by Pat Frank, in case you don't know. It's very famous, a very famous book. And I do not want us to be starring in our own version of the last Babylon, because this is getting very worrying. I wonder. We'll obviously have to go through Parliament and discuss this at great length in Parliament, and we will have to have a vote on it. It's not just Keir Starmer says, well, I say they're going, so, ta-ta, off you trot. No, it's like anything in this country. If we are to do this properly, we need to have a vote in Parliament, and and see what comes from that vote. But Starmer can't just say, yeah. I know Starmer's willing to put troops out there. Yes, I get that, but we have proper procedures within this country, and it starts in the Houses of Parliament, and that is where we vote as to whether or not we send the troops or not. And from that, then obviously plans are made. If everybody had a copy and read either A Last Babylon, Brother in the Land, Children of the Dust, by Children of the Dust is by Louise Lawrence. If you don't know, that Robert Swindell did Brother in the Land, and Pat Frank did A Last Babylon. Just 3 of the books. Nobody wants war. Nobody wants war. But unfortunately, sometimes events do overtake us, and we end up in a situation where we haven't really got, if we're being attacked, we haven't really got any choice but to, repel the attackers. What I don't want to do is to be the country that kicked the hornet's nest. Very worrying times. Let me know your thoughts, and hopefully, everything good in life is always done with a discussion. Those that walk around and say this is how it's going to be don't usually fare very well. Discussion and dialogue, that's the way forward. I'm convinced of it. Anyway, my darlings, let me know what you think, and thumb up, thumb down. Just take care of yourselves. Definitely take care of yourselves, and give your family a big love. And if you've got any little pets in your lives, give them extra special cuddles. Yeah. Take care, my darling.